They say nightmares are where you wake up and live to tell them. But what if the nightmare never ended? In November 1988, a 17-year-old Japanese high school girl walked home from her part-time job, as she had done dozens of times before. But she never arrived. What followed was 44 days of unimaginable horror. This is the true story of Junko Furuta and the horror that captured a nation. In the suburbs of Misato, Saitama Prefecture, Japan, Junko Furuta was considered a model student. Quiet, polite, hardworking. She had a part-time job at a plastic molding factory and dreamed of a graduation trip, perhaps even a future job at an electronics retailer. None of that suggested she was at risk of the kind of evil that awaited her. On the evening of November 25, 1988, she rode her bicycle home after work. It was late, the streets dim, but not unusually so. Then a boy appeared. He knocked her off her bike. And in that moment, a carefully plotted nightmare began. The boy was 18-year-old Hiroshi Miyano. With him were three other boys, Shinji Minato, 16, Joe Ogura, 17, and Yasushi Watanabe, 17. All were connected to low-level Yakuza activity, delinquency, theft, and they had planned something far worse than they ever revealed. Miyano approached Junko under the ruse of helping her. Then she was abducted. Within hours, she was moved to Minato's family home in Adachi, Tokyo. A two-story house where Junko would spend the next 44 days imprisoned and brutalized. For weeks, she was forced to call her parents, pretending she had run away and was safe, so that no alarm would be raised. Her captors relied on the shell of normality while they carried out their cruelty behind closed doors. The torture was horrifying. She was beaten daily, forced to sleep outside on a concrete balcony, burned with cigarettes and lighters, humiliated, starved, subjected to unspeakable sexual violence, even forced to swallow her own urine and eat live cockroaches. Every day, her body and mind became less human. By January 4, 1989, Junko's body gave out. In a final act of cruelty, her captors doused her in lighter fluid, set her alight, and left her to die. Then they wrapped her body in blankets, placed it in a 55-gallon drum, filled it with concrete, the infamous concrete-encased high school girl murder case. When the drum was discovered on March 29th near a construction site in Koto, Tokyo, the shock in Japan reverberated. The sheer scale of cruelty, the young ages of the perpetrators, the failure of reporting and social intervention, it all combined into an outrage that still echoes today. 3 decades later, the case remains a cultural scar. In 2024, a new nonfiction book titled The Murder House by writer Takaaki Yagisawa revisited the house where Junko was tortured. Residents around Ayase Station still live in the shadow of that crime. The lot has been cleared, but the electric pole the boys used to climb in and out remains, a silent witness to what happened. Recent updates reveal a troubling truth. Some of the perpetrators reoffended after release. Shinji Minato was arrested in 2018 for attempted murder, beating a man, slashing his throat with a knife. Although mainstream media attention was minimal, the law took note. Yet the primary outrage continues. Despite the severity, Japan's juvenile criminal system classed many of the offenders as minors. Their sentences ranged from 5 to 20 years, seen as shockingly lenient. The case triggered debate about how violent youth crime should be handled. But even facts like these don't capture the full horror. Because this isn't just a crime, it's a human nightmare. A promising life extinguished, families deceived, neighbors who heard screams and cried themselves to sleep, a society staring in horror at itself. For bedtime horror listeners, it's not the graphic details alone that haunt. It's the normalcy before the horror. It's the way this young girl lived an ordinary day and walked into something no one should ever experience. It's the silence afterward, the unanswered questions, the lessons not learned. In the end, what remains is not just the brutal act, but the legacy. Junko's name, her story, the empty house, the question of justice, of memory, of how we protect the vulnerable when darkness hides behind closed doors. So tonight, if you find yourself wishing for one more story, remember this. Even everyday streets can hold monsters, and some nightmares are real. Good night, creepers. Stay safe, sleep lightly,